In this video, we're going to install Autopsy SleuthKit BulkExtractor, which includes BEViewer. Let's get started. To be opening up our browser, I'm using Microsoft Edge, and we're going to go to sleuthkit.org and install Autopsy. Autopsy is an open source digital forensics tool that is used to analyze hard drives and smartphones. We'll go to sleuthkit.org, we'll click on Autopsy, and we'll go to the download. Once there, we'll download the 64-bit version of Autopsy. Go ahead and click on it, and it'll start downloading. Once the file has been downloaded, at the top right hand screen, I'm showing that I can open the file here. You may have gotten a warning with your particular browser. Not all browsers will give a warning, but because this is a digital forensics type software, it's not a common download that most people would download for their systems. You can either open the file here, or you can go to File Explorer down at the bottom of the screen. It looks like it's a manila folder. Double click that, and you can go to your downloads folder. When you go to your downloads folder, you should see that particular file there. It does show that it's a 64-bit. One of the nice things about Autopsy website is that it is intuitive, and it does know whether your system is 64-bit or whether your system's 32. If you're curious, you can go down to the search bar in the bottom left, click on it, and type about. When you type about, you'll see another window come up, and you'll see everything about your PC. Below device specifications, you'll see a system type. My system's a 64-bit, so it's perfectly fine. Go ahead and exit out of this window at the top right. And now we're back at the downloads folder. I did want to mention that if your particular download did not go into your downloads folder, it could be because your browser is not set to download files to the download folder. In that case, you can do a search on the top right and look for the Autopsy file. Let's go back to this particular file. We can do one or two things. We can double click the file, or we can do a right click. When we do a right click, we will see an install at the very top. Go ahead and click that, and when you do, you may get a warning letting you know that this particular file may not be a safe file according to Windows Defender. But we know that this is a safe file. We do know that we want to download it onto our system. So we'll go ahead and click More Info, and then do Run Anyway. We'll get the Autopsy Setup Wizard will appear. We'll click Next. And it's telling you here that this is where it's going to load this particular software. If you'd like to change that, you can click Browse, and that'll open up your browser again, or I should say your File Explorer. But we're going to keep it at this location. Click Next. Once again, it's saying it's ready to install, and it's asking us if we want to do that. Click Next or Install. And then it'll take a few seconds and it'll install. It does say in this window that it may take several minutes. At this point, I'm getting a user account control message asking me if I want this app to make changes to my device. I'm going to click yes. I do want it to make changes to my device. Those changes would be installing the application. We'll watch the installation take place. It should only take a few seconds or minutes, depending on your particular system. You'll see a status bar that's letting you know that it's copying the new files. It's changed the status to registering product. Then it went ahead and did the backup files. That was rather quick. And now we'll click finish. Once you click finish, you will see that on the left-hand side that it did put an icon on your desktop. We can go ahead and close the File Explorer window. Click the right X to close it. Let's go ahead and verify that we can open Autopsy. We have the icon at the top left. We can do a double click or we can do a right click. When you do a right click, you will see that a window appears and you can click open. You can also open file location and you can run as the administrator, but we're just going to select open. When you do, another window will open and it'll take just a second or two. It's telling you that it's starting the modules. It'll open the main viewing window and then another pop-up will appear asking you if you want to do a new case or if you want to open an existing case. We can click close and we can also come up to the top left, click case and click exit. We have verified that we can in fact open Autopsy. Now that we've loaded Autopsy software onto our Windows 10 machine, we're now going to install SleuthKit. We're going to click the back arrow of our browser at the top left, and when we do that, we go back to that original page that we were at in the browser for SleuthKit.org. We're now going to go up to the top and click SleuthKit download. We're now taken to that particular page and we want to download the version 4.11.1 version. So we want the Windows binary. Click the Windows binary and it's giving us a download in the top right section of our browser. Once that's been downloaded, we have two options. We can open the file here, which will open our Internet Explorer, or we can come down to the bottom of our screen and we can double click File Explorer from there and click Downloads. Once there, we have a zip file. Now a zip file is a bunch of files that have been compressed, and that compression will allow the download to be smaller. Now we need to take all of those files out of this particular file, this zip file, we can do one or two things. We can do a right click, and by doing a right click, we can then say open or extract all. And that's really what we want to do. We want to extract all of those files. And if we choose not to do this method, we can do a quick double click on SleuthKit zip file. By doing that, it extracted everything right here. If we go back to our downloads file, we'll see that original folder. And we didn't really get to see where those files went before when we did the quick double click. So I always recommend that we do the right click and we say extract all. When we extract all, that allows us to choose where these particular files are going to be downloaded. We will want to select browse. There isn't an executable file for this particular download because we'll be using the command line to run the executables in this particular package. So we'll click browse, and we'll want to download these files at C drive program files. Make sure you click that and that it's highlighted. You'll click select folder, and when you do, it'll come back and say C program files. So it'll unload these files in SleuthKit folder at C program files. Click extract. You might get a message telling you that you need administrative approval. Click continue, and all of the files will be extracted there. And in just a moment, we'll be able to see that. Here on our local disk, we'll see program files, and you will see a folder called SleuthKit. And the version is noted as well, 411-1. Now we're going to find the executable in the bin folder, and it should be FLS. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is a file called FLS, and it's an application file. So we're going to click on that file. Because these files are executables, we want to copy this path into our path environment variable. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come over here to the top of the Explorer, and we're going to do a click the box and then do a copy. You can do a right click, copy, and that puts that path in your in your clipboard. We're now going to put that in our path environment variable. Come down to the bottom left in the search bar and type path. Once we do, we'll see a setting called Edit Environment Variables for your account. Click that, and you'll get a box that comes up. And you'll see in this box, path. You want to double click path, and another box will come up. Here it's saying Edit Environment Variable. In doing that, we'll say New, we'll click the New, and we'll do a right click in the little box, and we'll click Paste. And that will put that path environment variable in to your environment variables. Click OK. Then you'll click OK. And then you'll click the right hand or the right X to close File Explorer. Downloaded the binaries for SleuthKit, which means that the executable files will be ran through a command line. We've set the path to find the binary files that we put in Control Panel, SleuthKit. But we need to verify that that path will actually be seen for these internal commands and external. So let's go to the bottom left and let's get a command prompt. In the search bar, type command and click on command prompt. When doing so, the command prompt will come up and we are looking to execute the FLS executable. So type in FLS, then do -V, and that'll show us the version. And if we have our path set properly, we'll actually be able to see that particular executable run. If we type FLS and we hit enter, we're then getting all of the help for FLS. So we now know that this has been installed properly and we can see that we're getting those executables. Click exit, or excuse me, type in exit, enter, and we're done installing SleuthKit. Now that we're ready to install BulkExtractor, we will click a new tab in our browser and we'll type in BulkExtractor for Windows. Once there, we'll see several choices. Scroll down to GitHub, Simsong BulkExtractor. Once on that website, we'll want to go to the wiki. Click wiki, scroll down, and we'll go all the way to the bottom, and we will want to click installing BulkExtractor. Click that link, and here you'll see that we have for Windows users where we need to go to get the exe file. We'll click here, and once here we see a full list of downloads. Once again, we'll scroll all the way to the bottom to find the latest exe to install this on our Windows. Once at the bottom, we have here BulkExtractor Windows Installer exe. Go ahead and click that, and it should start downloading. Once it's downloaded, we can either open it from our browser in this file section, or we can go to our Manila folder at the bottom, File Explorer, and we'll see the file that's been downloaded there. A few more seconds. And again, we can either open it here, or we can go to our File Explorer, go to our downloads, which is where my files get downloaded to, and I'll see that the BulkExtractor Windows installer is here. I'll do a right click and I'll do open. That'll run the file in execution mode. I'm getting a box coming up asking me if I want this exe to make changes to my device. Yes, I do. The changes that are being made is that this is going to be installed on my computer. At this point, I'm being asked if I want the 32-bit, 64, and if I want to add to path. I do have a 64-bit configuration, so I want to leave that checked. And I do want to add it to path, just like we did for SleuthKit. This will do it for us. Click Install, and it'll show the details of that installation. Once it's completed, you'll be able to select Close. Select Close, and BulkExtractor has been installed. Now that we've installed BulkExtractor, we need to install Java 8. Let's click a new tab in Microsoft Edge, and let's type in Java download Windows 10. Once here, we'll see download Java for Windows. We can go to either the download or we can go to the 16-bit browser, and that's what we want. So let's click that. Once here, it's telling us that this is the platform for 64-bit Windows operating system, and in the red box, we want to click the download. So we'll click download, we'll come to a new window, and there's an important license update from 2019. I'll give you a second to read that, and then we'll come down here to agree and start free download. Go ahead and click that. When we do, we can see that an executable file is being downloaded into our download folder. At least that's where mine goes. And we can do one or two things. We can open the file from here, or we can go to our File Explorer. So let's do that. We're in our downloads folder, and we'll go ahead and do a right click on that folder and click open. When we do, we'll get another window that'll pop up asking us if we want this to make changes to our device. And yes, we do. The changes that are being made is that Java is being added as software to our computer. Here, we'll want to say yes, we do want to do the install. On the left, we could click Change Destination Folder, but we don't want to do that just yet. So we'll click Install. And then at this time, we get a screen letting us know the status of the installation, which is really nice. Once it's installed, we'll use this Java extension or Java software to run the BEViewer that comes with our BulkExtractor. So just another second or two as this finishes installing. And it has been successfully installed. Click Close. We can also see that it's been downloaded from up here, and we can move on to our next step. In our File Explorer, we will go to this PC, and all the way down at the bottom at our local disk, we'll click on the left arrow and we'll go to Program Files x86. That's where BulkExtractor can be found. We'll click on the left arrow for BulkExtractor, and then we'll click on the 64-bit folder. In there, we have three files. We have BulkExtractor, which is an application, BEViewer Launcher, which is an application, and BEViewer, which is an executable jar file. What we need to do is replace the jar file that has been downloaded through this executable install. And to do that, we're going to go to another GitHub. This GitHub is UFIDON ITS 452, and we're going to go to Labs, Lab 01, Tools. And once there, we will click on the BEViewer.jar. I've put the link in the description so you can quickly locate it. We'll go all the way over to the right and we will click Download. Once again, we'll see that that file has been downloaded. Now at this point, we don't want to open the file. We want to copy that file that is in our Downloads folder, and we want to put it where we were before in our program files BulkExtractor 151 64-bit. So how we're going to do that is we're going to click on our Downloads folder again. Once here, we will click on the BEViewer. We'll do a right click and we will select Copy. And then we'll go back to our 64-bit folder. Remember, we're in Local Disk C, Program Files, x86, BulkExtractor 1.51, 64-bit. Once there, we'll right click on the white space and we will click Paste. When we do that, it'll ask us if we want to replace the file in the destination. Yes, we do. And then it'll say we need administrative approval. And that's because this is an executable file. So click Continue and you will see that this particular file has been then installed. We want to do one more step. We want to right click on the BEViewer file that we just pasted into our folder, and we want to come all the way down to Create Shortcut. We'll click Create Shortcut. It'll let us know that it can't place it in this folder, but it can put it on the desktop, and we want to say yes. Once we do that, we'll see that we have BEViewer shortcut off to the left. We'll double click that BEViewer shortcut, and when we do, the BEViewer, or excuse me, the BulkExtractor viewer comes open. We can click on File and Quit to close that. We can then come over to our File Explorer, click on the right X, and close that. Then we can close our Microsoft Edge by clicking on the X in the top right-hand corner.